welcome back to Ursa Minor Sewing, and today we are going to be getting started on our kimono. Now we are doing the casual style or more everyday style kimono. I did a little research into kimonos, and this one over here is one that you mostly see young unmarried women or geisha wearing, so I'm not going to be making this one because that's what the whole long sleeve thing is all about. So we're going to be doing this one. And I'm doing it Kimono style, which basically means that the pattern of the fabric is continuous. It's all over the kimono versus just in one or two different places. So we're going to be working on this one. I'm actually doing two kimonos. I've got a lighter one and a darker one that I'm doing. I'm going to show you how to put these together using the lighter one. I've got it all cut out and ready to go. But I'm going to do the darker one behind the scenes, and then when both of them are done and I have the obi belts done, I will show you what they both look like in a kind of get ready with me review type video. Okay? Once again, I'm not going to be showing you every single seam that I sew because, you know, seam's a seam. It's pretty straightforward how to do that. And I'm also not going to be showing you the cutting process because it's cutting, you know, lay down pattern, pin down, cut around, mark, done. So done all of my pattern prep. I've marked my notches, marked my circles, gotten the interfacing installed. So really all we have to do is sew this thing. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to film this sleeve video from this angle because I saw a comment on my Hat Worry where someone was saying that they were very interested in learning how the sleeves of this pattern went together, and upon further reflection, my Hat Worry tutorial wasn't all that great as far as the sleeves went, so we'll do it from this angle and I'll just stay away from the sewing machine entirely. Well, I'll use the sewing machine, you just won't see it. Okay, so for the sleeves, you're going to need a public fabric and a lining fabric. And on the side with the rounded corners, there's going to be two large circles. You're going to sew these right sides together between those two large circles. And then you're going to snip the seam allowance up to but not through your stitching. I don't know if you guys can, I used red thread to mark where my large circles were, and I left it in. But at this point you want to take that out because you're not going to be able to remove your markings if you used thread. I'll do that off camera. Okay, now what you want to do with this is open it up like so, and you're going to fold them in half like this. Just kind of get everything flattened out here, and same with the lining. Fold it in half. Now remember, if you're going to treat the seam or seam allowances, don't do it yet, especially if you're using a serger. There will be other opportunities. Okay, like that. And then what you're going to do, once you've folded it like this, because you've snipped this, you should be able to go like that, because you snipped it. And you're going to stitch on both of these from that large circle down, let me get this more, down around the rounded corner and to the point here. And then do the same on this side, from the large circle down around the rounded corner to the point and stop. So I'm going to go take care of that and I'll show you what to do in the next bit. Okay, so I've got those stitched, and just a quick note for you guys is when you're stitching this, if you find that either of these are getting in the way, if you take the side you're not working on and kind of fold it up like this as you're passing this part through the sewing machine, it won't get snagged. It'll be just this that you're sewing, okay? So there's a little note for you. Okay, so once you've gotten it to this stage, grab my instructions here. You are going to take your two newly sewn seams down here, and this is where this turns into a balled up mess. I'm going to take them and open it up like this, and then take, I don't know if you can even see this, but here, I'll face it this way. If you go like this and kind of open this one up like this, and then take your public fabric, and you gotta twist it a little bit, but open them up like this, and put the seams together. Just like that. And when you pin this, make sure you pin it with the seam open, like that, okay? And then you're going to pin it, you're going to sew it up to, I'm just going to open it up a bit here. See my tack marks? That's the small circle. So you're going to sew between this small circle through this seam to this small circle over here. Okay? Just to re-show you that, you've got it like this, laying flat in front of you. Just take them and twist it so that it's facing like this, and take this and twist it so it's facing like this. Put them together, pin the seam open, and sew between the two dots. So I'm going to go do that and be right back. And then this happened. So you're going to have a balled up mess when you're finished sewing that seam. And what you need to do now is, well, of course, after you've clipped up to but not through your stitching at the dots, you're going to come up to the hole here, and you have to turn this, or you don't have to turn it, sorry. You come up to where these holes are, and you just kind of grab the seam over here, like this. You should have something that kind of sort of looks like that. It should lay pretty flat for you. Just kind of give it a few snaps and crackles. You're going to have a few sections that kind of bubble up, like right here and right here, but that's okay. Now what you need to do is, the old directions back out again, is from that snipped area up here at the top of this corner, you're going to sew along your stitching, or actually you probably want to stitch just a little bit inside it, down and around, and stop right before you get to this little bunch of mess right here. So I'm going to go do that, come back, and I'll show you what else needs, the last little bit that needs to get done for the sleeves. Okay, so now that I've gotten these sewn together, and I sewed at about the 1/2 inch versus the 5/8 of an inch, and that seemed to go okay. Now that you've got it sewn to this point, we're actually going to turn it inside out, or not inside out, sorry, right side out. So I'm going to need some scissors for this, and you want to snip all the way around this corner here, as close to the stitching as you can get, like this. If you're finding that it's too bulky because of the fabric you've decided to use, you can always trim this down to about a 1/4 inch seam allowance too, and that'll work just fine. But you just need to snip it out a bit so that it will turn nicely for you. Okay, snip that out. Now you're going to take it, and up here where those holes are, we're going to turn it right side out. So you want to reach in to the public fabric down to that rounded corner, and just kind of do a little shake out here and there, like this. And again, oops, I need that to happen. One more time with feeling. There we go. And there it is. Right? And you know, actually with that seam that I just did, if you want to trim that whole thing down to 1/4 of an inch, you can, because just feeling in there, it feels a little bulky, so you could just go in there and trim that down to about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. It'll be fine. But now that you've gotten it to this point, what you need to do is go and press this out and make sure you give those seams a good little massage out so that they flatten out nicely for you. Press this all out, and then you're going to take this line here, see how it's sticking out, you're going to baste that together, and then I would also recommend serging that seam so that it doesn't fray, okay? So go press, baste, and serge. I'll be right back and I'll show you what everything looks like done and ready to be inserted into the main garment. And there are the 2 sleeves, all finished off and ready to go. You'll notice the pattern is upright on one side, and then when you flip it over it's actually upside down, but that's fine. The upside down side is going to go toward the back, and I don't think anybody's going to notice, and that's fine by me. And yes, I do realize that there is a bit of a pucker right here, but once it's all sewn together and you've got an obi belt tied around it, I don't think anyone's going to notice. And so far, it's looking pretty good. And that's that for this video. So thank you so much for joining me for this time, guys. In the next video, we're going to be working on the body of the kimono, and we'll probably leave the collar for last, but the construction is very different from the haori. We don't have to do gussets or anything like that. We'll see how it goes. Question I got for you guys is, do you think I should do the obi belts that are in the pattern, which by kimono wearing standards, those are actually like cheater obi belts, or should I make an actual one that I have to take the time to tie? You guys tell me in the comments or on my Facebook page or Twitter feed, and we'll see which one wins out. Maybe I can do one of each, or I'll do 2 cheaters or 2 obies. We'll see what happens. So until next time, guys, happy sewing.